My name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and today we're going to be making some cards in bulk. At least I'm going to try my hand at it. I'm going to be super honest with all of you and say that this is not how I typically make cards. But after our conversation in our last live, I thought, you know what? I'm going to do 5 cards each of 2 different card designs using the Be Jolly stamp set. And I'm going to see how it goes. So tonight, this is one of the card designs, and then we're going to do the other card design live so that you can see how I did it. Now, it's not the simplest card in the world, but what I will say is it can be simplified. So I am going to step it up a little bit with a few things here. So I am going to do a little bit of blending. And I'm going to do a little bit of masking just because I thought it would be really cute with this stamp set. And I'll explain what masking is if you've never seen it before. But basically we're going to take a Post-it and we're going to cover one stamp and then stamp another thing over it so that we can have a, like a seamless layer. So you can see here that we have Santa and he's behind the sleigh. So just a super cute, simple card design. And then the other one that we're going to do live is the tree with the other Santa kind of peeking out from behind it. At least that's kind of my vision. But we'll design that card together. So here's what you're going to need. Now I'll make sure that I have all of my card measurements and everything up on the blog. The other piece of this is this is line art stamping. So you can color the images with whatever you like to color best with your images, or you could just leave them the line art. So I am going to color mine, but that doesn't mean that you have to color yours. But I just thought that this was a really cute card idea, that if you need to do some quick cards in bulk, that you can do this either in a simplified way or in the stepped up way that we're going to do here. So what I did, and let me just set my ink over here. Oh, and let me do this part too, because I always forget when I'm on these lives, you guys. So my host code, this is good until December 15th. So today is the 9th. Oh, and I have to mention Paper Pumpkin really quick too. So December 1st through the 15th, if you spend 50 or more with me, you'll get a free Wink of Stella and 2 free Christmas cards that you guys often see me making on the lives. So if you guys have any questions about that, let me know. This information is also on Facebook and my blog. And you can find my blog, stampingwithheart.blogspot.com. For, last call for anybody who is looking for Paper Pumpkin or wants to subscribe to the December kit. The last day to sign up for the December kit is tomorrow. It's the 10th of every month. And this is going to be a really cute kit about puns. So I happen to live with somebody who loves puns. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting that Paper Pumpkin. That's going to be a fun one to make some cards for Patrick. Okay, so here are the pieces that we're going to use, and here's kind of the color theme that we're going to make. Susan, thank you so much for sharing this. I really appreciate that. So we're going to be working with basic white. So we're going to have our card, and I did the quick card bases too, and I'll go over that in just a moment. But everything is already cut in advance. So my understanding from watching several demonstrators, one demonstrator who's really good at this in particular, Brandy Cox, she does a lot of like stamping and assembling in bulk. And I wanted to give her a shout out because I've seen her do this before, and I was like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try, Brandy. So apparently doing all of your cutting ahead of time, just kind of being ready to go if you know you need 10 cards, 20 cards, 30 cards, whatever it is, and then you'll be halfway there. Okay, so the concept here is that we're going to do everything in like an assembly line kind of way, and we're just going to try this together and see how it goes. So we're going to be working with shaded spruce cardstock, real red cardstock, basic white cardstock. We're going to be using Misty Moonlight ink, and we're going to be using Memento Tuxedo black ink because I will be coloring with blends. If you don't plan to color with blends, if you just want the line art and you're going to stamp it in red or green, then you don't have to worry about this. But that is why I'm using this particular piece. We're going to be using the gingham ribbon, the black and white gingham ribbon. And, you know, use whatever holiday ribbon that you have on hand, you know, at this point. And then most of the stamps are going to be from Be Jolly. I do have to confess, I have the snowflake stamp again from Penguin Place. You guys know I have really been loving putting the snowflakes on everything. There was one in the paper pumpkin kit. I'm just like in a total snowflake state of mind. So I am going to borrow that from this set, but you guys grab your favorite snowflake stamp and you can use them as backgrounds for your cards too. I'm going to take the layer first and we're going to do 5 and 5, and hopefully I have enough with my layer. Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then I have an extra just in case we mess up. 1, 2, 3. I swear that's sticking together. It is. 4, 5. Okay, so when you cut your pieces in bulk, just make sure your cardstock is not sticking together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I have 2 leftovers. Great. All right, so what we're going to do is we'll do 5 of our Santa and sleigh first, and then we'll do 5 of our Santa with our tree. And we'll just kind of go in an assembly line process. So we're going to do these images first. I'm going to get my Memento Tuxedo Black ink out, and then we can just chat while we're working through these cards. So I'm just going to tuck these over here. I'm so sure that I'm going to get some ink somewhere. All right. So the sleigh is what we're going to do first. And I kind of put my sleigh on the lower third of the card. So we're just going to do 5 of these. Okay. So one thing that I made a mental note to talk to you guys about, and you probably all already know this. I know everybody, we're all savvy online business, you know, shopping. Well, what I'm trying to say is online shopping is big business right now. Everybody's been shopping. We all know about the shipping delays. So I just wanted to say, Stampin' Up! Said, if you're planning on ordering any more Christmas gifts and you want to get them with standard shipping, make sure that your order is in by December 13th. So that's just a heads up from them saying that with things being a little bit slower for everyone, that's a good way that you can ensure that you're going to get your gift on time, or that the person that you're sending it to is going to get their gift on time. I know that USPS had said 15th basically was the deadline. And I don't know if this has been happening with any of you, because I've pretty much exclusively been shopping online. But all of my packages have taken longer to get to me. I've noticed this month. They're still getting here, but it's at least, in my personal opinion, like 3 days behind. And this is not Amazon. This is like some other companies that I've been ordering from. Okay, so here's 5. And I was planning on doing like my pre-order reveal for all of you. And I don't have my pre-order package yet. I don't think it's going to be here for a few more days, which I thought it was going to be here by now. But again, we all just have to practice patience, right? Okay, so we have 2 different Santas to work with. And the Santa that I put behind the sleigh is the Santa with his arms down. And then we also have one with his arms up. So we're going to work with him first for the sleigh. And all we're going to do, so you're going to take a Post-it or a piece of paper. I like Post-its because there's a very, it's a little bit of stick, but nothing that's going to mess with your card really. It will come right off. And it will hold it in place so that you can stamp. If you want to cut, exactly, you can. I decided not to worry about the feet, and I just ended up coloring in the whole sleigh. I thought it was a little bit easier. But if you want to remove that little piece between the sleigh lines, you could do that too, so you can kind of see his boots peeking through. Totally up to you. I'm going to leave it like this. And then once you stamp it once and, cut it out from your Post-it, we're just going to use this to line it up exactly so that our sleigh is covered. And this is just that basic masking. Okay. And now we're going to take our Santa, I'm going to ink him up, and we're just going to stamp him right over the mask. Okay. So that when we remove it, Santa is right behind the sleigh. And I'm going to do that 4 more times. Okay, so we have 5 of these, and now we're going to do 5 of the other design. I'm going to try as much as I can to stick to this assembly line process. I tend to like go off on a whim and be like, let's do this now. So let's see if we can do this. All right, so the concept is we'll do the tree first. We'll create a mask for the tree, and then we'll add our Santa. So with this one, I'm thinking about like slightly offsetting the tree so that I can have Santa coming out from the side. So let's just check this out and see. So if he's like coming out of the side here, then I'm kind of going to be like, you know, I'm going to have to kind of get close to the corner so that we can still keep a lot of his body image. Okay, so we have our tree. And now the next thing I'm going to do, you kind of want to be mindful of where the adhesive is on your Post-its. So because it's over here to the side, I'm going to try to stamp so that I get some of that adhesive on my mask. So I'm just going to kind of stamp over here as close as I can, just so I'm getting a little bit of adhesive, just enough for it to kind of stay in place when I'm stamping. And now we're going to take our paper snips and just trim this out. Okay. I told Patrick, I said, next year, I'm seriously going to start shopping for Christmas presents and putting them away like starting in January. I know that a lot of very savvy shoppers do a lot of like discount shopping in January. And I need to be more ahead of the curve next year. I'm definitely behind this year, but it's okay. Just do what we can do. All right, so with your mask, you want to try to be as close to the line as possible. You just definitely want to try to keep it nice and tight so that when you stamp your Santa over it, like it's kind of a seamless look. And there's no like weird, you know, gaps or anything like that. That's kind of like the key with masking. It's pretty clever. I've seen some pretty spectacular stuff done with masking, but I would consider myself like really more of the basic, you know, mask girl. Like I like line art and things like that for masking personally. Okay. So here we go. And I'm just gonna line this right up with our tree. Let's just kind of test this out, see how this looks. It looks pretty good, right? And then let's get our Santa with the arms up, our little joyful Santa. He's very happy about his tree. I will be very happy when I get my tree, I'll tell you that. And let's see. Every year I pick a tree that's too big for our living room. So this year I'm really going to try to be good. All right, and I want him to kind of be popping out from behind it. So let's do that and see how this looks. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so we're going to do 4 more of those. So cute. All right, so the next step with this is an optional step. So if you want to leave it nice and clean and white, you can do that. If you want to spend a little bit more time and kind of creating that scene, we're going to do some shading around all of our imaging with the Misty Moonlight stamps, with the Misty Moonlight ink, and then this, this shading brush, blending brush is what it's called. So I'm going to kind of just go around the corners and kind of, this will kind of just look a little halo-ish, like where it's a little bit lighter around our stamped images, But again, if you want to go faster and keep it clean, you could always do like your sentiment right here. I tended to do the sentiment like after my layers. So down this way, but however you would prefer, you have plenty of room for a sentiment if you want to do it that way. So I'm just going to walk you guys through how I'm going to do this specifically, but we definitely have options, right? So I'm going to do this with all 10. So you can just hang in there with me. If you're watching the replay or if you've ever seen my replays, I cut out the conversation and I just, you know, leave all of the steps to the tutorial for anybody who may want to go back and watch it. And I always speed up these sections, but we can hang out and chat. So if you're new to the blending brushes, if you've never tried the blending brushes, and whatever blending tool you're comfortable with, use that. You know, do what works for you. You know, if you have the sponges, the daubers, whatever works. If you're going to use the blending brushes, just very similar to the dauber, make sure that you kind of get that excess ink off first so that you don't end up with like a big blob on your image. And if you ever make a mistake, of course, there are ways to, you know, trim that off or cover it up with ribbon or an embellishment or something like that. But it gives a really nice, smooth look if you know, are interested in trying the blending brushes out. I actually didn't really love them when they first came out. Like I couldn't kind of get that smooth look. And somebody who was watching kind of challenged me and said, like, they're fabulous and you really need to use it more. And I was like, okay, I will do that. So I listened and now I am, I'm getting better with the blending brushes. Okay, so here we go. And it's okay if you get a little color on your images because I am going to color them with the blends. So if you're going to be coloring them with watercolor or blends or, you know, what have you, the Stampin' Write markers, then you're not really going to see that, you know? So that's just something to keep in mind too. So I don't want to spend too much time on these because I know you guys are hanging out and watching, but this is the concept and you can go down a little bit further because the idea is this is kind of the sky. So let me just go down a little bit further. And I'm just going to leave it like that. So we're going to do this with each of these. All right, so we're through that step. So we're going to take a break from this piece here, and we're going to do our card bases next. So let me know if you guys do this, if you stamp in assembly mode and you make a bunch of cards at once. I know a lot of people who donate. This is what the finished card looks like for the design number 1, and then design 2 we're going to color here on the live. I didn't stamp anything on the inside, but of course you can. And this is the card base that opens from the top. So if you guys like to conserve on cardstock, if you like to be conservative and kind of use it as much as you can, what you're going to do is take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, cut it at 4.5. Cut it at 4 1/4, and you're going to score it at 5.5. And that way you use the entire sheet and you get 2 card bases out of it. So we're going to do our card bases here. I'm just going to count them out and make sure I have 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I have an extra just in case. Okay, and we're going to stick with Misty Moonlight at this point. And I'm just going to fold this down. If you guys want your bone folder, it's a good time to use it. And we're just going to start stamping our snowflakes on each card base. So we're just going to continue that assembly process as we go along. And then I'll check the comments here too. So just getting my Misty Moonlight. I know I'm kind of off camera here a little. Get that misty moonlight going, and then we're just gonna go around. I'm trying not to do too much stamping with my, you know, with the snowflakes, you can go crazy, right? I mean, you can use it all over the place and do as many as you want. Lots of layering if you want. I'm just trying to do like a basic outline. So, and we have some layers that we're going to be adding. So we'll just keep that in mind too. And I want to keep my sentiment down here. So I just want to leave a little space for that. So I'm just going to kind of do half of this stamp at the bottom. Okay, so just basic outline stamping, and just so that you guys can see what I mean as we kind of go through this process with our layering pieces. You can kind of see if we keep this towards the top here, we're just going to have enough to get our little sentiment down here if that's where you want to place it. And then have that, you know, piecing this together. So that's kind of the concept there, and why you don't have to stamp all over the base. Okay, so we're just going to continue on with that. Now the next step is going to be adding the red and the green layers, and then we're going to finish up coloring up our Santas. So I'm going to get my layers on my card, and I guess you could do your coloring your Santas too first if that's what you want to do. Totally up to you guys. I think it's just going to be easier to do it this way, and maybe stamp my sentiment on too, and then kind of finish up those images, because this top layer here on my Santa, this is on dimensionals, but the other two are flat to the card. And the other thing I forgot to mention, you guys, is that I added just a little gem here from the Silver and Clear Epoxy Essentials. I love the diamonds. I'm not sure what you guys think of those. Any one of the shapes would be fine. So this is the silver diamond that I put just right in the center of the bow. I thought it was so pretty. All right, so this is our real red layer. So we're just going to put that down first. And what I was doing with my real red layer was I was kind of putting it up towards the top of the card. So that was just so that I could have some room for my sentiment at the bottom, because I was trying to stamp, you know, still on the basic white card base. So totally up to you guys. And then we have 1/4 of an inch in between each layer. This is shaded spruce. And I'm just going to frame it in. Let me move that just a teeny tiny bit. I've got that just a wee bit crooked. Can I move it still? I think so. Okay, that's better. All right, and so we're just going to assemble these pieces now. So okay, so now we have all of these card bases. I have to say, this is fun. This is fun to kind of see these all coming together. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the sentiment. And on our Santa with the sleigh card, the one that's finished, wherever I have put that, here it is. On the Santa with the sleigh card, I did Be Jolly. So I'm going to stick to Be Jolly for that particular design. And I'm just going to stamp them on the card bases here. Let me just move that back a little. Okay. And I'm just going to go right here and stamp. And we're just going to do that for 5 cards. All right, and then on the other 5, we're going to do a Merry Hello. We'll try to color each section together. So let's see, we'll do all of our Santas and our sleighs first. Okay, how should I do this? Maybe like this? Let's see, I think that's good, right? Okay, now hopefully I won't get color everywhere, but I am going to do the Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to try to do, I'll do Real Red Dark for all of our Santa suits and work our way around. So with the Stampin' Blends, these are alcohol markers, just for anybody who may not know. They're blendable. When you order them, they come in a combo pack where you get a light and a dark of each color. They're really fun to work with. I'm going to try the other side because I feel like I'm going to make a mistake with that. So there's 2 sides. There's the brush tip side that I was just using and a bullet tip side, which is a little bit more specific. Whenever you're using a really dark color or a really intense color like Real Red, you just want to try to keep it light and feathery with the strokes, because if you do, you know, too long in one spot, it can bleed because they're alcohol markers. So just go nice and easy with your feathery strokes and you should be just fine. So here we go, and let me just make sure that this kind of looks even on each of the cards, that we're at least looking similar here. So we'll just get this going. Okay. Line up this piece here. The next thing that I did was I actually tied a bow on separately. I just thought it was the easier thing to do. So I'm going to do that with each of these. And what I did was just kind of felt out how much ribbon that was going to be for me. So it's not too bad. You basically just want to have enough for some small loops, probably about the same length as what I cut out to go around the card. Around the layering piece. Fun fact, see if you can talk while you tie a bow. Apparently, I cannot do both at the same time. Okay, so here we go. Just gonna kind of bring that in, tighten that knot, and make sure that my 2 little tags are kind of going in the same direction. My 2 little tails, I mean. Don't want to cover up Santa. Just going to trim those off. All right, and then that's basically the concept for the bow, and then we'll put on our embellishments all at the same time. For this one, we're going to do pretty much the same thing. I'm really going to try to stick to the same colors. For my Christmas tree, I think I'm going to do the, well, that soft succulent's a little too light, isn't it? I think I'm going to stick with our, nope, too dark. Make a decision, girl. Okay, light evening evergreen, and then here's dark. So when you purchase these, you would get them as a combo. So you have both options if you want to blend. Like I said, I'm going to keep this super simple. So I'm going to do all the trees first, and I'm going to keep going with the assembly coloring. And it's totally up to you guys how you would want to do this. So I think there are lots of different fun ways that you could do these trees and whatnot. I can't get enough of this color. I think it is so perfect for Christmas cards. I have been using, I mean, the ink, the cardstock, the ribbon. I mean, if you have watched any of my other projects, I have used this on so many different things. And my favorite bundle that was in the holiday catalog was Festive and Bright. And I must have used Evening Evergreen on just about everything that I did with Festive and Bright. I just love this new color. I know that I've heard some people say that they thought it was a little bit too dark of a green, but I think it's perfect. I'm just going around the ornaments as best I can, I should say. I'm going to do just solid coloring. I'm not going to focus too much on all of the ink blending and all of that. But you could do some fabulous shading with Christmas tree, especially if you have multiple, shades of green. Could really get some cool shadow and layering going there. I feel better since I've talked to all of you and not everybody is done with their decorating, their shopping, or their cards. I am really, really happy to hear that. Okay, there's tree number 1. Since we're not going to do the ribbon. So let me just put these out really quick. And on these, since I did the diamond on the others, why don't we do, these are the clear. Oh, here they are. I want silver. Why don't we do the circles? I think that would be really cute. And we'll just do like 3. these are our 5 Santa with the tree cards. And then here are the Be Jolly Santas here. And these are the ones that have the ribbon with the sleigh card. So 2 different card looks that you guys can do in bulk. If you don't mind a little extra, you know, shading, or if you really, really enjoy coloring the images, this would be a perfect project for you. If you prefer just the line art, it would be just as cute. So you can definitely tweak things here and there with this card project, but that's it for me tonight. So thank you all so much for spending your time here. I really appreciate all of you being here. I'll make sure I have all of the measurements and everything up for these cards on the blog tomorrow. And you can find that blog at stampingwithhart, that's H-A-R-T, .blogspot.com. Okay, thank you. Have a great night, everyone.